Hi dudes, I'm playing this game today called Astral Towers, which is a game I'm kind of obsessed with and have been for many years, but it's also a game I think you shouldn't buy. There's kind of a conflict here between myself as a kind of lover of games and an indie game developer myself, that I want to show people games that are quite obscure that they've missed out on and, you know, and maybe like hidden gems, but at the same time this game was developed by Apus Software, which is a Russian-based game developer. It was originally released in 2011. I've been playing it on and off since then. I'm not sure that the company still is around. This was released on Steam in around 2020, and I think they've done some stuff since then, but I think it's been pretty quiet from them for the last few years, so I'm not sure the people involved are still making games. But I'm also not sure if revenue from Steam is able to get to developers in Russia. But if it is, and there may be ways of that revenue getting through, then that money is going to inevitably be taxed by the government there, which I think is not something we want to happen. You know, arguments can be made about, you know, should you buy games made in various places, and definitely lots of countries have done bad things. You know, America, you know, good aspects of America, bad aspects of America. Britain, where I live, yeah, you know, okay, you can say, oh, this thing happened, or, you know, but I think in the grand scheme of things, the Putin government is fairly up there in terms of bad shit. So at this stage, I can't say that anyone should actually buy this game. What I'm going to do is, it's interesting because this game has kind of two parts to it. There's the kind of story mode, like the kind of the scenario mode, I guess it's called, which is probably what most people who played the game would have played. This is not really the kind of meat of the game, in my view. It's fine, it's perfectly enjoyable, but this is not where the game's real kind of fascination for me lies. You can see on here I actually completed the normal mode when the game first came out in 2011, and then when I got it again on Steam a few years ago, I played through the game on hard mode, which does mean I've got every achievement in the game except for one for finishing the game on normal mode, which is quite funny. However, if I go to let's just look at a scenario mode mission just to see what that's like, then we'll get into the real meat of the game. Let's do normal mode, plot, whatever. So the scenario mode, you do various missions. If I go play, there's a tutorial thing. I'm just going to skip the tutorial. So in this mode we have a hero, the wizard. This is basically me. If I die, that's, you know, restart the mission. So here we have my units, and you see we have 2 peasants, which are very weak units with an attack of 2 and a hit points of 6. On the enemy side we have 2 zombies that regenerate life, and a skeleton which has a slightly higher attack but lower HP and doesn't regenerate. And on the right we have my mana, so I have fire, ice, nature, death and craft mana. These all go up by 1 each turn under normal circumstances. And we have in these boxes on the right creatures that I can summon into these slots, and buildings such as the Wall of Ice. This currently requires 4 mana, so I can't cast it yet. And spells as well, so this one does 6 damage to the nearest creature or building. I'm going to summon the Gremlin, that has not much HP but a reasonable attack for the start of the game. And you see when I when I summon a creature or play something, my units all attack. The front row does basically attacks the unit in front of it. These units are melee units, so the Gremlin is ranged unit. These are melee units. This is a ranged unit, but it didn't attack because that was the turn I summoned it, so it won't attack in the same turn. and then the enemy attacked back, and my farmers are looking fairly unhealthy. I think it's random which one the skeleton will target if there's nothing in front of it. But it will always target something in this row before it targets the back row. What I'm going to do is, let's get another gremlin. So both my farmers are dead, but I can summon the Wall of Ice, which will summon 3 walls into this front. Oh, okay. Right, this is different from the mode I'm used to playing. I'm not so used to this mode, where in the main mode of the game, what I consider myself to be the main mode of the game, there's a spell that summons 3 walls of ice into the front row. You also notice this was attacked, but it got healed by these gremlins. They randomly repair damage to an ally building each turn. Let's use the acid fog to damage the enemies. And then this zombie should die next turn. I can use the firebolt, kill the skeleton, and then this zombie will die now. So in this mode, as time goes on, you unlock more creatures and spells and so on for your abilities. But I'm not going to stay on this mode. I'm going to go back to the main menu and go to the with AI option, which is, I think, the much more interesting game mode. You see there is an internet option. I'm not sure that still works. It says it's locked. That's just not enabled. Maybe the server's just not around these days. There's Hot Seat that I've never played, so two players on one machine. I'm going to play against the Archmage, so you've got different difficulty levels here. So in this mode, each wizard has a tower. This is my tower, enemy tower, and we're given a random assortment of starting creatures, spells, buildings, such as, you see here, Frozen Barrier summons 3 walls of ice into the first defense line if possible. That's the one I was thinking of earlier. And there's also what are called tower enchantments that are like upgrades to your tower. You can also upgrade your tower itself, so like these are kind of, I guess, buffs to your tower, but you can also choose to specialize into certain types of magic towers, such as fire, ice, and so on. Now at the start of each round, or at the start of each game, because this is just a series of one-on-one games, there's no like progression in this mode, it's just see how much you can win or not. The options you're given for the starting creatures and so on is essentially random, and the opponent will also have their own randomized set of creatures and so on that they're given, which I can't currently see what they are. What I do know is that if I've got, for example, the zombie, that means the opponent won't have the zombie, so each of us has a unique set of creatures and so on from the overall pool. So what I'm going to do, I'm looking at my starting options. The Cultist, which is a fire creature, is very useful because it increases your fire mana by an extra 1 each turn. However, it does die fairly easily and doesn't have a very strong attack. But I'm looking at my starting options, and it seems like a fairly reasonable choice. I could look at what options I have in terms of things I can use this extra firepower for. It will take 3 turns to kind of pay for itself. So obviously if it was die before that, then it wouldn't necessarily be worth it. But I think it's a reasonable start. The other start option would be the zombie here, which is quite good at surviving because of its regenerating health, although it's a fairly low amount of health and doesn't do much damage. So I'm going to cast or place the Cultist in the back row because it's a ranged creature. The enemy has summoned the Dryad, which attacks all enemies, so it does 2 damage, has 10 HP, which is fairly low, but it's very powerful because it does attack all enemies, and that could become a problem for me. There is a particular building that is quite a good counter to the Dryad, but I don't currently have it. If I were to upgrade my tower to the Tower of Fire, then I might get that given as an option, because each time I upgrade my tower, I'm given more essentially, units or buildings and so on from that category, but I've got no guarantee of what I'm going to get. So I think what I'm going to do is it's either going to be the zombie. I mean, it could be another cultist, to be honest. But again, it could die fairly soon with this here. It's probably going to be... I mean, the Ancient Keeper is another creature that gives you an extra mana per turn. In this case, it's going to be ice mana. So this is in the death category, but it gives me ice mana. If I can keep these alive, it's going to be very powerful, but obviously they could die fairly soon. Okay, now this is interesting. The enemy has spawned... there's a spell that basically brings 3 skeletons into the front row. I could be in big trouble here because I can pretty much guarantee what the enemy is going to do on their next turn. They're almost certain to upgrade their tower to the Black Tower, which is the first kind of level of the death towers, and that's going to make these skeletons a lot more powerful. It's a very common pattern you see from the AI. So I could be in trouble here. This is a flaw in this game. I've been playing this game on and off for, I guess it's 15 years at this point. And I want to kind of feel that I've mastered it, but I also feel that the game is, although it's, decently balanced, I don't think it's perfectly balanced. And I do feel sometimes there are situations where within 2 or 3 turns, it's like, okay, I've already lost. And I don't know for sure whether, maybe if I was a better strategy player that I'd be able to win those games. Or maybe there are just some unwinnable games. And in some ways, that's maybe what makes the game so compelling to me, because I'm kind of like the pigeon pecking at the button that may or may not release a food pellet. If I were to win every time, I'd get bored. If I were to lose every time, I'd get bored. But I feel like the game is kind of almost stringing me along with the idea that maybe I can do better. Now, in terms of what I should do now, if they upgrade to the Black Tower... So this creature here, actually, this is actually a good counter to the Dryad. It applies 5 damage to any enemy before they attack it. This will be actually quite good at getting these skeletons' health lower as well, and it will hurt the Dryad, but if they upgrade to the Black Tower, then this will die in 1 turn. It may still be useful, it may still make sense. The other option is the Arctic Spikes, which will deal damage to all enemies. So actually what I'm going to do is actually I should do the Arctic Spikes first. That's going to deal 5 damage to all enemy creatures and buildings. But my creatures here will take quite a bit of damage. I could do the Frozen Barrier to summon Walls of Ice into these 3 squares, but then I'm not really doing much damage to the enemies. Although that could be used to kind of bide my time for more powerful creatures like the Earth Elemental. I'm going to try this line. That's quite good that skeleton died, I didn't think about that. Yeah, as I suspected, they upgraded their tower to the Black Tower. You see these skeletons now have 5 attack, they have 10 HP, but also worse than that is that damage applied to them is reduced by 1. However, if I now summon the Demon Trapper, I'll just place that there, it will do damage to each enemy that tries to attack it. In fact, you see all the enemies just died, so that works out quite well. Now, what I'm going to do is they've summoned the Watchtower, which is like the Demon Trapper, except it's a building, it doesn't do damage. It doesn't attack things, it just kind of retaliates against things in the same way this does. That's going to kill this thing in due course. What I might do is build the Gremlin Workshop, which repairs my buildings and boosts my craft power. And I'm going to place it in this square. This square is kind of like not great now because this is here and it's just going to be kind of hurting things that try to attack it. So getting a boost to my craft power feels pretty decent. Although currently, actually, all these guys are getting hit by this anyway because that's the only enemy to kill. They've summoned their Dryad behind the watchtower, so it's kind of hard to kill. But I could try using. I think it's worth using the Arctic spikes again to apply damage to both of these. Although it's better if there's more creatures on the screen. I could also consider upgrading my tower at this point. They've already got their first level of upgrade. And it's a question of, obviously in this case, the craft tower, like the elemental tower, which is the craft tower, is, I feel like, not that good. It doesn't have any special abilities. It just unlocks more cards in all the categories. But I think actually all the towers do at some point give you more. I guess they're calling these here cards. They call them cards in your spellbook. All these towers do actually give you more cards in the other categories as well, but they mainly focus on the category that they're in. Whereas the craft tower always gives you one extra card in each of these categories, so I guess it's giving you more cards overall, but it is more expensive. The nature tower heals itself, and then later upgrades heal your creatures as well. The ice tower does damage to the strongest enemy creature or building each turn. The fire tower is probably one of my least used towers. It increases spell damage. I don't feel I have. This is my main damaging spell here. It's fine, but it's increasing the spell damage by that is not that effective. It does also later on increase attack damage, but it is my least used tower. The death tower is very good, especially if you have, like they had the skeletons, the one that summons 3 skeletons. That's pretty much a no-brainer with the death tower. It does also upgrade the zombies, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be using the zombies that much. So I think for me it's down to the ice or the nature tower, and I'm trying to build towards this or gain mana towards this earth elemental, so I'm going to go for the ice tower to save my nature mana. Okay, they summoned the Dwarven Alchemist, which randomly does 5 damage to a random building, so in this case it damaged my Gremlin Workshop. It also does, you notice on its attack value, it's got like these 3 little notches here. That means it's a siege attack, so basically it does full damage to buildings. So most creatures do half damage to buildings, but if it's got siege attack, then it does full damage. I'm just 1 turn off getting the Earth Elemental. I might just get a zombie just for a bit of durability. It'll last a bit longer than some other creatures because of its healing. And then I can summon the Earth Elemental probably when this dies, which it will do fairly soon from attacking this and by getting hit by this. I could use the Cure spell to heal my creatures, and that also gives me 1 extra. It actually makes your nature power go up by 1 rather than down by 2 overall, because it gives you a bonus of nature mana. But this will still die, so it's not going to be that useful. So let's do the zombie. Okay, they used a fire spell on me, so that's killed all my units. I'm going to summon the Earth Elemental, which is it's like the skeletons that take 1 less damage. Those are the upgraded skeletons. It has a huge amount of hit points and takes less damage. It's got a reasonable but not amazing attack. So let's get that. Okay. They've summoned the Tower of Storms, which is like the ice tower. This is not very good for me. It's like the Dryad, but it does more damage, has more HP. It also boosts the enemy's ice mana and basically reduces my fire mana. So it's a very powerful unit. I'm looking at my options, and I think, yeah, with both of these, I want another Demon Trapper that's going to cause some damage to those. So let's do that. Okay, they used the sacrifice spell, which killed their own Dwarven Alchemist, but gave them free death mana. Now, this is potentially quite bad for me, because there's a spell in this game that is so overpowered that I actually tried to see if I could hack it out of the game, or at least change the cost. So there's a spell called Assassinate, which will kill my... Well, it will not only kill my Earth Elemental, it'll also put an enemy creature in its place. So it's a brutally overpowered spell. And I think it's either 9 or 10 or 11 death mana that costs. So that's bad. Let's get a Dwarven Trebuchet. If this gets replaced with an assassin, I want to be ready to kill that as quickly as possible. At least the Watchtower is dead. Okay, they've summoned 3 more skeletons. Oh, well, that's good in the sense that they're not doing the Assassinate spell, which I don't even know they have, but they might have it, because I don't have it. So, let's see. Now this is interesting actually. With my ice mana, I've got quite a lot stored up. I could upgrade my tower to the next level, which will give me more ice cards. It will do an extra 1 damage to the most powerful enemy unit. When it says strongest enemy, creature, or building, I don't actually know what that means. Does it mean HP? Does it mean attack power? Does it mean some combination of those? I'm not quite clear on that. I guess we'll see if it attacks. I can't remember where that happens. Actually, it shows down here like when that happens. Does it? Is it showing when my Tower of Ice does damage? Oh, Tower of Ice deals 1 damage to Tower of Storms. Was that at the start of my turn? I think that's when they cast Skeleton Army. Yeah, so it's based on, I think it's based on HP rather than attack power. Okay. I could also summon the Ice Drake. That's quite a powerful creature. It only attacks buildings, which means you can try and get it to directly damage the enemy tower, and often that's a very difficult situation to be in for, you know, whether it's you or the enemy doing that, because if you can't kill the Ice Drake, it will just destroy your tower and you can do nothing about it. But I'm also looking at the North Troll. This is a very powerful creature that kind of resurrects itself with ice power, with ice mana. Let's get another Ancient Keeper. The Grim Reaper is also an option that drains nature power, gives death power, and also gives death power whenever a living creature dies. Unfortunately, in this case, the enemies don't have any living creatures on the board at the moment, so it's not that useful. Although it does also apply to your own creatures. If your own living creatures die, then this will give you death power. But I'm going to get another Ice or Ancient Keeper. They've summoned another Watchtower, which got hit by my Tower of Ice. It's either going to be Cure or if I cast Cure, this might survive because it'll do 3 damage to this, and then when this tries to attack it, it will die before this thing gets hit. So that's probably good. And also I can see the enemy has no fire mana at the moment, so they can't cast the fire spell, although they could potentially have other spells. Oh yeah, by the way, the catapult does double damage to buildings, so that's nice. Okay, now this spell here, Rejuvenation, requires more mana but does more healing. So I think at the moment, just keeping these units on the board is quite strong. You know, you can get into situations where you've got no units on board and the enemy's got quite a few, and then you can't really come back from that, or it's very hard to come back from that because any units you place will be liable to be killed straight away. I mean, I do have the North Troll I can place, but let's just get a bit more healing. These dwarfs they're summoning, again, they take 1 less damage, So they're not very powerful, but they can absorb quite a bit of damage. So again, I'm going to heal so that... I mean, this... again, assuming they don't cast any fire spells. There's actually one thing that could kill this next turn, but I'm going to heal. Again, because the cure gives you extra... basically boosts your nature power, so it's a pretty decent spell just based on that. Okay, let's upgrade my tower. So I've gained some more cards here. We'll do the skeleton army again. And again, I could actually upgrade to the maximum ice tower, which does even more damage to the strongest enemy creature or building. It also says all creatures gain siege attack, so they basically do full damage to buildings, which is not that relevant at the moment. Now this one's interesting. Sabotage. This is it's probably less overpowered than the assassinate spell, but destroys the weakest enemy building and places an ally saboteur creature in its place. I mean, that's too good not to use, really. Just get rid of this straight away. That's kind of overpowered. So they killed my saboteur, but they weren't attacking these guys in the meantime. Let's use the Arctic Spikes. So I think it's going quite well at the moment. I can see my opponent has 17 craft power. It might be they don't have anything particularly good to summon with that, just by random chance. Okay, this is a sign of desperation. They're placing a skeleton into the back row, because if they place it into the front row, it'll probably get killed straight away. So the AI in this game, I think it's, as a programmer, as a developer, game developer, it's interesting to think about how this works. I think it's just a pretty standard kind of decision tree based system where it's trying to find the optimal, it's essentially looking several turns ahead and trying to work out what's the optimal thing to place at this time based on possible player choices. It does sometimes go into some kind of weird cycles and then suddenly breaks out of them and starts doing something a bit more sensible. But I'd have to imagine it must have something not entirely terrible with these 18 craft points, but it's not using them, so maybe it doesn't. Let's just keep healing. Okay, that's also a bit of a sign of desperation. Upgrading the tower instead of summoning a creature. It gives it more HP, but it's still going to die pretty soon unless they do something different. So just keep healing. Okay, the catapult. That's the dwarven. Oh, this is the dwarven trebuchet. That's the goblin catapult. They're almost the same units, except this one uses fire mana and has slightly less HP and one less mana requirement. I mean, actually, if I cast this Mind Control, this is one of the spells I've unlocked by upgrading my tower. That's just going to make this attack its own tower, and I'll win. So there we go. So that was a victory. So it seemed not too hard, but as I said, there can be games where things go south very quickly. This was my third most played game in the last year, despite this coming out in 2011. And I've played it, as I said before, on and off since then. Let's try another game. Let's see what happens. So I've got a different set of cards this time. This does not look like a very good starting selection. In terms of, you always want to try and get something that's going to generate you extra mana. The only things on this board I see at the moment are the Ancient Keeper, which gives you extra ice mana. The Forge, which increases your firepower but decreases your nature power, and the Gremlin Workshop, which is the one that increases your craft power and also repairs your own buildings. So it may be that certain random assignments of creatures and so on are just not that good. The Elven Archer has a very high attack for its cost, but very low HP. Another starting option here would be the Goblin Warrior. That's just a cheap unit that is not amazing, but decent. It's nothing special, but it has quite a decent attack power, so it could fairly quickly kill anything that is spawned by the enemy at the start of the game. The Ice Elemental is similar to the... In fact, it looks like a slightly better version of the Goblin Warrior, but it does damage your own tower if you've got less than 5 ice power. But the strength of it is perhaps good enough that I should just start with this. Although I do want to look at this North Troll as well. That could be a kind of game changer if you can get to a certain level of ice power. So maybe what I'll do for now is start with the Goblin Warrior. Okay, they've gone with the Dryad again, so they've got the Dryad. Again, that's no guarantee they have that each time, but... I have a fire spell here that damages all enemy creatures. Obviously, that's not great at the moment because there's only one enemy creature, but it could be very useful in trying to kill this thing. Let's see, I do want the Ancient Keeper because I need to get my ice power up. This could end up being another kind of ice mana run. I guess run isn't quite the right word there, but let's try and kill these things. This will only take 2 damage from this, which is not amazing. I could do another. Let's just get another Goblin Warrior. Okay, this is the Ice Drake. It's going to directly attack my tower, and as I said before, unless I can kill it quickly, I'm in quite big trouble. Okay, this isn't very good either. Although, okay, let's see. So this thing here, the Cemetery, so it revives any fallen ally living creature as a zombie, and it increases HP of all ally undead creatures by 3. So getting free zombies, the zombies aren't that powerful, although if you upgrade to the Black Tower then they are quite powerful, or somewhat powerful. But just getting free units which can absorb hits and so on and regenerate the health is pretty powerful. I'm going to... the Gremlin Workshop is not a bad idea because it will help heal my tower from this. So essentially it's doing 6 damage per turn at the moment. My tower will... and also this is doing 1 damage per turn. My tower will be prone to die fairly quickly. This will slow down the attrition. So... and it also gives me extra crafts mana. So the Cemetery caused this dwarf to be resurrected as a zombie. They now have 2 Dryads, which is getting pretty bad because that's going to be even more damage to my tower. It's basically back to 6 damage. Well, I guess, yeah, overall, taking this into account, which repairs 2 damage, 6 damage per turn to my tower. Now, I do want to use this Fire Rain, but I also do want to summon another creature to try and get some of these dead. So the Treant is quite a powerful creature and it regenerates health, which will be outweighed by what the damage these are doing, but getting it on the board I think is quite useful. Let's do that. Okay, they've upgraded the Black Tower, which makes this zombie... that 34 in the health is a glitch. It's going to correct itself in a moment. It does not have 34 health. It has 18. Okay. That's going to die, that's going to die, that's going to die, but this will also die, which is good. Let's try and get rid of these... Dryads. This is going to turn into a zombie. But if I kill these will also turn into zombies, which is good for me because they'll be in the back row, and zombies are melee creatures, they can't attack from the back row. So they'll be a bit useless there, they'll be taking up space without really kind of contributing anything to the battle. So let's start making our way towards that. Okay, they used a fire spell on me. Okay, that's bad. Right, let's get you dead at least. I'm not in a very good place here. So zombie in the back row. Okay, what I'm going to do is summon the frozen barrier, which the 3 walls of ice. That's going to protect my tower from these guys for a while. I could actually build another Gremlin workshop to heal my tower more, but there's a danger here that this Gremlin workshop and this one as well, if I were to summon that, would heal these as well. I might end up a kind of stalemate situation where they don't have enough attack power to destroy my buildings, and I can't replace any of these buildings, because once a building is placed, the only way to put something else there is wait for it to be destroyed. So I'm going to... Well, let's get this dead first of all. Now they've used the heal, or the rejuvenation spell, so this is still very much alive. Although I actually am healing by 1 HP on my tower per turn on average, because this is doing 1 damage to this building. That's repairing 2 damage. Let's... I'm going to get... Well, I should probably just upgrade my ice tower at this stage. I feel like this is a situation where the craft tower does kind of make sense, because I don't have that much use for this craft power. I don't have any really strong creatures here, so it will give me an extra card in each category, which is not bad, so let's do that. This also has more HP, this first level of the craft tower. Okay, let's... I could use Ice Age, which does 15 damage to everything except ice creatures and buildings. I don't think that includes the enemy tower, but I don't think it's that good at the moment. Let's just... I'm going to use this Blizzard Totem. That's a tower enchantment. It's just going to damage each enemy when it comes into play, which is just a small bonus to me. Although actually, let's see. Yeah. Let's do that. Okay. I kind of need to wait for these buildings to die because I can't really do much. I mean, I can summon ranged creatures like this Gremlin or this Ancient Keeper. I guess that's fine. Although this has healing, so it's going to take a long time for this to kill this. I'm going to upgrade to the top level of the craft tower. So most of the towers have, I think, 3 upgrades, but this only has 2, this tower. So this is the Arcane Tower. Increases the tower's max HP, gives an extra card in each category. This is one I don't see much, this Fireball spell. It's like a less commonly seen spell. I think you never get this at the start. Does 10 damage to the enemy's first defense line. Although that's still not really enough to do that much. Let's do... This is quite a good enchantment that increases max HP of allied creatures, but I'm kind of saving up my nature mana for, let's say, the Treant or the Earth Elemental. Let's use the Ice Spikes. Although I do want to summon a Troll. Let's do this one. They're probably, yeah, they cast the Cure. Or the Rejuvenation, rather. Let's just keep hurting them. They'll... Yeah, they're low on nature mana now. So the opponent skipped their turn. That might be just they have nothing they could actually cast there, because all their slots are full. They didn't have enough mana for the rejuvenation spell. Maybe they have no other spells. Although you'd think they'd have some tower enchantment they could purchase. I don't really see them getting these that often, the tower enchantments. Okay, let's... I still need to wait for these to die. Let's do the ice spikes, let's just kill this. So the enemy is now in quite a weak position because their back rows are filled with creatures that aren't good in the back row. They have used sacrifice to free up this slot, so they could probably put something quite powerful here next turn. Let's get... let's just get this tower enchantment that does extra healing to my tower. Okay, there we go. Now things are a little bit more interesting. So this is the Titan. It has 10 siege attack, 40 health, and it can't be assassinated or hit by the plague spell, which is another spell that just takes out a lot of creatures. Let's see. So that's going to kill this wall, which is fine because this wall isn't that useful. And then I've got a variety of different creatures I could summon into that slot, and I think the North Troll, which revives itself, would be quite a good choice for that. So let's just heal for now. Actually, let's get the buff to HP for creatures. Okay. So, by the way, I mentioned before about the creatures in the back not being able to attack. It's basically if they're blocked, so they can't like shoot past this thing. So if there was nothing in this slot, this could still attack. Okay, let's do the North Troll. So when it dies, it uses 3 ice mana to revive itself. So... okay. Right, that was the assassination spell, which is the spell I mentioned earlier, that being the most overpowered spell in the game. That just totally destroyed my North Troll and put an assassin in its place. You see the game glitch out a bit, like the troll was replaced by the assassin, then it revived itself, but then the assassin stayed there and kind of replaced the troll again. Okay, so let's see. My options here are the Dark Knight. I think that's quite a good choice here. Or the Ancient Dragon, which has... It does decrease the enemy's mana, although do have lots of Fire and Ice mana and Craft mana already. Let's do the Dark Knight that does increase damage to enemies with high HP. Although it's going to attack this first. You know, it's going to be taking damage from this and this and this. It could die fairly quickly. Like, it's already half dead. That's not good. Let's get a... The Earth Elemental will be able to destroy this. I mean, both of these will be able to destroy this cemetery. But I think I want something with more durability because, again, this could die quite quickly to these guys. Let's get this one. Okay. And yeah, I just remembered this is bad as well. Okay, so my Dark Knight is already dead, having barely done anything. Because they have the cemetery, there's now a zombie, and they had the assassin in this square. There's now an enemy zombie in one of my squares, which, despite me having probably at this point over 100 hours in the game, I don't know, because when the game first came out it wasn't on Steam. I've got like about 40 hours on Steam. It was a situation I've never seen until just a few days ago. So I'm in a very bad situation now. That's going to be doing... Like, basically everything's going to be attacking this. I could put another... Well, if I put a Gremlin Workshop here to absorb some of this damage, this will still do 10 full damage to it because it's got siege attack. So this is going very badly. Let's see. I think... It would be quite nice to put something here because that can then attack some of these without getting destroyed straight away. But there's no way to get rid of this at this point. Something has to attack it and nothing's doing that at the moment. Like this can't attack, this can't attack. And anyway, there's this in this front row. I do need to bear in mind these spells like this one. That'll be good for trying to get rid of some of these enemies. But for now, yeah, this is just going to be attacking him, who's going to heal 3 HP. So it's going to take a long time to die. Okay. Let's just get this to try and... Well, it's not even going to help this. Well, let's put that there. Try and keep my Earth Elemental alive for a bit longer. See, that just died straight away from the Titan. Oh, is it called Colossus? I thought it was called Titan. Okay. Well... This is quite a good creature, the Demon Tech Priest. But if I put that there, it's just going to die. Well, I guess this will take the damage first. Actually, this is actually not a bad choice. This summons a Underworld Golem into the first defense line if possible. So this took the damage. Then this person summons the Golem, which doesn't have that much health, but it's basically taking some of the damage the other creatures would take. Let's try and kill that, so I can start dealing damage to other things. They're using the fire spell again. So that's been summoned there. I guess I could try and get back the Dark Knight now and again start trying to take out some of these. I'm noticing my opponent's death power going up. They're definitely going to use the Assassinate spell as soon as they get the chance. So I have to keep an eye on this number, and I don't want it to reach 11. I could actually use the Ancient Dragon in 2 turns to decrease these powers so it can't use the Assassinate so soon. So maybe that's not a bad play. In terms of what I put here... because I could do Cure, but it's not that useful at this stage. I don't normally put a Gremlin in the front row, or I don't actually use these that much because they have so little HP that they die very quickly, but it will be doing a little bit of damage and taking some hits that other creatures would have otherwise taken. Let's just put a Gremlin there. Okay, okay, that's interesting. They have Avalanche. Which is a different spell from Ice Age, which I forgot, that there are these 2 big ice attacks that just take out almost everything. So it deals 13 siege damage to all creatures and buildings except Mage's Towers. So it's both sides it attacks. However, if I do Arctic Spikes, then that takes out all of these guys. We're back to a blank board. Okay, so this again. Notice they took 3 damage from my Tower Enchantment, the Blizzard Totem. Actually only 2 damage because they basically get 1 protection from each damage. So I can do the Ancient Dragon, which will reduce these numbers a little bit. And I'm wondering whether I summon it into the front row or the back row. So normally this would go in the front row, but if I put it in the front row, it's going to get attacked by all of these and lose half its health in 1 turn. So at this stage, I just want to be doing, keeping this alive for a while to give it a chance to kill things. But because it's a melee creature, if I put something in this square in front of it, it won't be able to do anything. But still, I think it's not a bad... Well, it's not great, but maybe it makes sense at this point. It's probably not the best idea, but... Okay, so they've done the Tower of Storms, the one that does 3 damage to everything, which is not fun for me. So this should die. The Clay Golem does not... It basically explodes when it dies, dealing damage to all nearby creatures. That could help take out these, but they're not that much of a threat at this point. We do want them gone. Might just get another Gremlin Workshop just to get some repairs, but it's kind of actually useless at this point. Like, maybe I should get a Forge. That's going to give me more firepower, but it does drain my nature power, which is quite useful because I can get the Earth Elemental and the Treant. So I'm not sure any of these are actually a great option. because this thing is better if you've got more different buildings. Like obviously it helps with the frozen barrier, helps with the forge, because it helps heal those. But there are certain buildings this would go better with. Like there's one that does actual attacks, the fortress or whatever it's called. Let's just get that. It's just gonna actually let's put it in the front row. It's gonna take some hits away from other things. Okay, they've done another Colossus. Thankfully, it will be hitting this instead of this, which is good. So let's get another one of these and just kind of turtle up and try and gain mana towards something like some other powerful creature. And there's a Dryad. So these are dying very quickly, especially because this has the 10 siege damage. I think I'm in quite a bad spot here. Well, this will destroy the skeletons. It would be nice to be able to place one of these catapults or the Demon Tech Priest again. Let's see. The skeleton will basically die almost straight away. This will die very quickly because of these ones that attack everything. They'll die in 2 turns. And that's assuming they don't use any spells. This will die from this and this very quickly, and these. Maybe it is the frozen barrier just to fill in these 2 slots and give myself... It means this won't be able to attack. But it will protect this for a turn, I guess. Maybe that's not that good. This will die almost immediately. Could just heal my dragon. Actually, that's quite a good option because it's going to give me an extra nature mana. So the opponent skipped their turn. I can summon Earth Elemental to, again, draw damage away from my dragon. And then they used the heal. See, Earth Elemental almost half dead, even though I've only just summoned it. And actually my dragon is in really bad health now. Well, actually I can use this. This will kill everything on the front row. That's pretty good. Ah, no, we won't kill everything because these take 1 less damage. Okay, so my dragon is dead because they used a fire spell. I want to try this troll again, although you see the death power creeping up back to 11. If I have any powerful creatures, they'll just use the assassinate on them. So this is going to die soonish. Okay, let's just try and get some more ice power anyway. Oh dear, okay, this is not good. Oh, by the way, these Tower of Storms, the ice towers, are also draining my firepower. I forgot about that aspect of them. These are like kind of overpowered because not only do they attack everything, they both increase your mana and drain your enemy's mana for the fire. Right. I think I need to... The thing is, if I summon this, because with the assassinate, if I have 2 powerful creatures at once, then only one of them can be assassinated. So, you know, having 1 powerful creature on the board that you're relying to kind of help you win is a bit of a losing strategy. If they've got the assassinate spell, it's just going to destroy that. But I have nothing really stored up for any of the other mana categories. And I'm kind of suffering that this tower doesn't have any special ability. Like, I'm feeling in retrospect maybe the Arcane Tower is not a very good choice. It is immune to burnout and rust spells, but those aren't... Well, I don't actually know if the opponent even has those. I think rust is a spell that destroys all your tower enchantments. Okay, let's... I think I have to spawn the troll at this point. Okay, they summon the Dwarven Trebuchet that does double damage to buildings. I mean, these are brutal. These are now doing 8 damage to every creature every turn. I think that's impossible to come back from, especially given I don't have much mana in these different categories. I need to keep this troll alive, although that's probably going to die. I mean, okay, this is going to die this turn, or when the enemy takes their turn. And then that's probably going to get assassinated. Well, oh, this takes 1 less damage. It didn't die. Okay, that's good. Okay, so I've got 7 mana. This will revive itself, but he's probably going to assassinate it, in which case that's useless. In fact, I feel like actually it's going to absorb my ice mana. It's going to use 3 ice mana to revive itself, and then I'll still lose it anyway. So that's terrible. Let's... Oh. I was going to use the Ice Arctic Spikes. I mean, actually, these need to be killed pronto. Although I can't kill those with this anyway. But... Okay. I'm going to start trying to go down the Forge route. But before I do that, I'm going to get another Gremlin Workshop, which will increase my craft power so I can potentially get a Forge. Okay, this is not good. This is like a nightmare scenario. This does 6 damage to all enemies. So this is 6, 12, and 14. So I'm currently having 14 damage to all enemies, all my units. I've got nothing that can deal with this. If I... It's interesting though, they didn't use... They used their death power to summon this, which probably is a lot better than Assassinate at this stage. I have no way of really killing this. If I use my Arctic Spikes... because I need to take out this as well. I mean, this is going to die anyway, regardless of the Ice Drake. Okay. I probably just want to build up my nature power at this point to try and get another Earth Elemental. But it's kind of a bit hopeless at the moment. They've done another Ice Drake. So this revived itself, using up 3 ice mana. I think at this stage just cure again. Just try and get towards the more powerful earth creatures. Okay. If this dies next turn, which I assume it will, or will die fairly soon, then it can't revive itself because I don't have 3 ice mana. I can get a Treant. That's also going to die very, very quickly. And also my tower's almost dead, partly due to this. So I think it's just all in on the Earth Elemental. Okay. Definitely want to, this can take out this. Although he has 14 nature power, so he can just cure this. So it would die. Well, it wouldn't even die this turn because this won't attack until the next turn. But he can just cure it anyway, so I'm kind of screwed. Yeah, just did the rejuvenation. So that was my last revive for the time being. Oh, and it's already dead. So basically died twice in that turn. Okay, I think I'm just giving up here. There's no coming back from this. Okay, so that was a loss. I'm going to play one more round of this. But before I do that, I just wanted to mention I'm also a game developer. I mentioned that before, I think. I'm making a game called Reality Drift. And I'm just going to show you, in some of my previous videos on my channel, I've showed some footage from my game. I mean, the full trailer is on my channel, but it's a bit outdated. I'm just going to show you a new screenshot from my game. I'm not going to explain what's going on here. I'm not going to say why there's a giant whale in the sky. You'll have to wishlist the game and get it when it comes out. There is a demo of the game, but it's not fully up to date, and it doesn't have this in it. This is also work in progress art. This is still being worked on, but I'm quite happy with how it's going so far. So that's called Reality Drift. It's a roguelike racing game, so please wishlist on Steam. Let's get back to Astral Towers. Do one more round. So this time you notice I have the Dryad. I also have the Stone Circle, that is a building that gives you extra nature power. I have the Skeleton and the Zombie, and I have the Stone Golem, which is a craft creature that is immune to spell damage. Has quite a decent attack. I'm going to start with the Dryad, because of the ability to attack. I mean, actually, well, again, you want to try and get something that's going to generate you mana, and this Stone Circle will do that. So actually, I'm going to change my mind and summon a zombie at the start. And I might actually just upgrade my Death Tower straight away, because I can summon more zombies that will be quite durable. Then I can build a Stone Circle that will hopefully be able to generate quite a bit of mana. It's the weird kind of death/nature combo. Because these other creatures in these other categories don't look that good at the moment. And funny enough, I actually gained the Skeleton Army spell by upgrading my Death Tower. So in 2 turns I'll be able to get a wall of skeletons, which is quite good. I'm going to get also the Watchtower, I think. It will damage these creatures that attack it, but also the Dwarven Alchemist does have siege attack, so it will do full damage to the Watchtower. But I do want to... Let's just get this now. So that's gonna... Because I want my front row to be empty when I summon the Skeleton Army. This will die this turn. Maybe now's the time for the Dryad. So they've summoned the Ancient Keeper that gives them extra ice power. I'll do the Skeleton Army. They've upgraded to the Tower of Fire, which is, as I said earlier, a choice I don't normally make, but maybe it's good sometimes. That increases their spell damage. Let's see. I could just heal these. Like, I've got loads of nature power, nature mana. I want to keep this alive as long as possible because it damages everything. I've got, these are... This one's, this will take full healing from this, basically. So let's just do that. I do think these upgraded skeletons, especially with the Skeleton Army, is quite strong, maybe overpowered. They've upgraded to the the Flaming Tower, which is the 2nd level of the Fire Tower, and that's increased the attack of all their creatures. I do want this to die quite quickly because it's going to give them extra mana. So I could use the Firestorm that deals 7 damage, and that lets me... Actually, in fact, that will just die, won't it? Even though there's only 2 enemies on screen. Okay, they've used the Avalanche to just destroy everything. Let's get... It's either going to be another Stone Circle or a Gremlin Workshop. I think the Gremlin Workshop for now. Again, I see them summoning this, and it's like, is that really the creature you want to be summoning? I mean, I assume it's calculated that that's a good option, but maybe they don't have any good cards in their nature deck at the moment that are worth summoning at this stage. One more turn, I can summon the Tower of Storms. It's not ideal to put that in the front row, but It's fine, I guess. Let's... It's a question of whether I summon this zombie here or here. Or not summon a zombie, I could summon something else, but here it's going to be killing this. Here it's going to be killing whatever's summoned into one of these squares, which could be more important, but obviously I don't know what they're going to summon into these squares. Let's do that. Well, that wasn't really worth it. Okay, let's summon the Tower of Storms. It's going to give me more ice power, and actually this is quite good because it's going to be draining my opponent's fire mana, and they're leaning into fire at the moment with the fire tower. Okay, that's not good. So they've summoned the trebuchet that does double damage to buildings. This is a building. Is that just dead already? So that's 14. That'll do half damage. But if it's not dead, it's almost dead at this point. Let's get a stone golem, quite a powerful creature. Although, I mean, I want to kill this. I could summon a Dryad in the first row. It's a bit of an unusual thing to do, but it will deal some damage to these guys, which is what I need at the moment. Oh, okay, so that's definitely because they use their... Oh, they've got that fire spell that deals damage to the first row. And because they kill my Tower of Storms, they'll be able to carry on getting more fire mana. What is that? That's 5... That's 5 mana to use. So they'll be able to do that again in 5 turns. That's going to die if I don't put anything in the front row. I guess... Put this in the front row. I mean, that's going to die quite quickly as well. I don't really have anything good to do with my nature. Well, I guess the rejuvenation is okay. I do want to upgrade my Death Tower because that's going to give me... No, I won't actually gain any nature cards until I fully upgrade my Death Tower, I don't think. I don't really have any really strong cards here. Okay, okay, that's even worse. So this does double damage to creatures with more than 15 HP. And it does 10. Well, it's got 10 base damage because of the upgrade with the tower, the fire tower. I guess I want to... This will die straight away to this, because it'll do 20 damage to it. It's got more than 15 HP. That'll die straight away. I do want to do the Skeleton Army, but not till next turn. That'll die straight away. This will die anyway. I'm going to guess if I put something here, it's going to stop things attacking some of the other buildings and so on. I mean, this is going to be destroyed as well. My stone circle will be destroyed. So this is not in a good place. If I upgrade my Death Tower, it reduces the cost of all death cards by 1. So maybe that's worth doing. Because I do want to be using the Skeleton Army quite a bit, because it's probably my best card at the moment. But I don't really have any way of generating... So that's dead. Any way of generating death power, other than just waiting around. So I can summon the Skeleton Army next turn. This will live for this turn, at least. So everything's going quite badly. Let's do the Skeleton Army, which is only 5 mana now. That will also die quite... So they use the Arctic Spikes to just destroy all those as well, pretty much. So this nature power is totally useless to me. Like, none of these has that much impact, I guess. I mean, this will do some damage, but it'll die... It'll die straight away. This will die straight... If I put this here, I'm not sure if this attacks first. I'm not sure if it's the same order each time, the attack order. I should know that, having hundreds... Well, probably over 100 hours in the game total. So this is just dead. So yeah, I think I've already lost. I don't really have anything good. The Lich is the one that attacks all for 6 damage. It'll take 9 turns, whatever it is, to get that. So that's useless. This will at least kill... But if I put it here, it'll kill this. Then they'll probably just put something better in this slot. But I'm kind of low on options here. Now they're getting more ice mana. Any building I place here will be destroyed immediately due to the double... Actually, that's not quite right. Unless they do a fire spell or something. It will die in 2 turns. I mean, actually, the skeleton is free. That's interesting because I've got the upgraded Death Tower. It is at least free. And again, as I mentioned before, this is a move of desperation, putting a melee unit in the second row. So yeah, I'm totally screwed here. Okay, let's do the frozen barrier to give myself a little bit more time, but it doesn't really help that much, especially if they do that. This is like pretty much unrecoverable with these cards and so on. They use sacrifice to destroy their own whatever it was that was there and heal all their units. I don't know, this one's called Consume Life. That's different from Sacrifice. Sacrifice is the one that gives you death power from sacrificing your own units. If I do this, they're going to do Arctic Spikes again. I'm going to put one of these here just to take the... I mean, if I put this here, these are both going to attack my tower. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, game over. Okay. I'm going to do one more round of this for today. Now here I have the Snow Wolf as a starting creature. It's got very high attack for its cost, very low HP, but it attacks the same turn it's summoned, so you can use that to try and take out something before it can attack you. Again, I'm looking at which units give me mana, and it's the Cultist and the Gremlin Workshop, so I'm going to start with the Cultist. They've gone with the Ancient Keeper, which is the one that gives ice power. I want to take that out as soon as possible, so I'm going to use the Snow Wolf, which attacks on the same turn. There's the Ice Drake. Let's get the Dryad to try and whittle down the health of these other enemies. That should stay alive, unless they do something else. They've made a Forge. That drains their own nature power, but boosts their own firepower. If I use the heal... this won't die, which is nice. And it also gives me 1 extra nature power. I could just use the... Actually, that's better. I could just kill both of these with the Firestorm. I do want to get the Demon Tech Priest, which I'm only 1 turn away from getting, though. So let's just heal this. It's not that effective because these are already on full health, but it does boost my nature power. Okay, they cast Burnout, which does 12 damage to everything on the second row. So those are dead. I'm so close. Hang on, no, that's 10. I thought it was 8. This Demon Tech Priest is mana 10, so I wasn't 1 turn away from getting it. That's going to die. Again, if I heal again, it won't die. So let's heal again. I mean, this will die anyway, but keeping this alive is not bad. See how badly damaged my tower is already? Because they're doing it again. I'm kind of not in a good place here. So the Fire Drake, the Ice Drake rather, is rapidly destroying my tower, and they've got the Burnout spell that damages the entire back row. I'm going to use the Gremlin Workshop to Actually, I could build a cemetery, which will turn this into a zombie. It's a question of whether I build it here or here. If I build it here, it's going to get hit by the ice drake, which means it will die quite rapidly. If I place it here, my tower will die quite rapidly. So what I'm actually going to do, yeah, I'm going to do that. So that gets revived as a zombie by the cemetery, which is on its way to being destroyed. I'm going to build the Gremlin Workshop to repair both the cemetery and the Mage Tower. Although I don't have any other buildings. Well, actually, there is the Tower of Storms I can build that will be healed by the Gremlin Workshop if the Gremlin Workshop is still alive. So let's do that. Okay, they've upgraded there to the first Death Tower. See, this thing, I just can't kill it. I'd have to cast this Firestorm 3 times, which is 18 mana, which I'm never going to get in any reasonable length of time. This... So I could use Rejuvenation, but then I'm kind of falling behind. I'm going to use the Demon Tech Priest and at least try and get a free unit in this square, which is what this will do next turn. And then maybe I can focus on healing or a tower upgrade. They've upgraded their Death Tower again. So this is going to... Well, it won't die if I use Rejuvenation. So let's do that. It also healed my tower a bit. But still, these are dying, because these are buildings, they're taking very low damage. So the enemy is quite safe. Or at least their back row is very safe. I could upgrade my Ice Tower. That's going to start damaging the... I think the enemy or the building with the most HP. Or I could go Nature. And just try and get healing on everything. Because my Nature stuff isn't really doing that much at the moment. Like these are not... This Clay Golem is a bit of a desperation creature. You're not normally... You can't really rely on that to win the game, normally. So maybe I do go with the Nature Tower. That's going to heal itself as it's getting damaged by these Ice Drakes. And if I upgrade it further, it will start healing my other creatures as well. So let's do that. So that's... Oh, okay. That was going to die anyway. The cemetery. The Trebuchet, the Dwarven Trebuchet, this will just take out these buildings very quickly, so that's a good option there. Although the... actually, well, Tower of Storms, that's going to die to the Ice Drake. So let's get this first at least. They're doing the Arctic Spikes again. So all my front row creatures are dead. I might try Tower of Storms on the front row. Again, not what you'd normally do with this. It's better for the back row, but it will do damage to all enemies, but it will get full damage from the Ice Drake. I've noticed they've got 21 firepower. I'm sure there's something useful they could do with that. I don't remember which spells they have. It'd be nice if it showed, like you could mouse over, like see which spells they've used, so at least you could tell. You don't have to memorise every spell they've used in this match. The other option is the Ice Dragon that damages all creatures on the board, which actually is not a bad choice here because it will destroy everything except the zombie and the Ice Drake. Although it will also do a lot of damage to my Trebuchet, but that's not the end of the world because these buildings will be dead. I believe it does, yeah, I believe it is 8 full damage to the buildings, and it does have siege attack as well. There we go. They've used Burnout again, that's the one that damages the back row. So my Gremlin Workshop is dead. I just want to get rid of this Ice Drake. If I use the Firestorm... or I could... Actually, no, I'm going to get the Nature Tower upgrade. That's going to start healing my other creatures as well, and it will raise my max HP of my tower, or the current HP as well, by 20. Okay, that's not good for my dragon. They've summoned the Dark Knight that will do double damage. It's going to do 18 damage this on the next turn. Maybe I'll just get another cemetery and just start getting some more zombies and filling in my front row with something that has some durability. It's not that good because I don't have the Death Tower upgrade, but maybe it's fine. I don't have that much good to do with my Death Power. In fact, it's pretty useless. This damages all living enemy creatures, which will damage the Ice Drake. It also damages my dragon, which is a living creature. This is all living creatures. I've never been much of a fan of... I almost never use this sacrifice spell. Maybe it's fine, but I don't think it's that good. The other option is the Snow Wolf to start doing more damage to the Dark Knight. That's what I'm going to do. Try and kill it in... 7 damage won't kill that. This is just gonna die. So I've got a lot of nature cards I can use potentially as time goes on, but I want to try and save my nature power for some of these more powerful creatures like the Hydra, but I might never get to that point. Let's just get some more zombies. Okay, they've summoned the Fortified Tower. That's a building that doesn't attack, and it also takes 1 less damage, so it's very hard to kill. You really need a catapult for that. So that's not great for me. Actually, no, this is still alive. Oh yeah, because it went below... This does double damage to creatures with more than 15 current HP, but this went below 15 HP, so it's actually still alive. I just want this to die, and that as well. Actually, that won't kill that, but... okay. Can I take out the Ice Drake? That's going to die to this. Unless I heal. I could heal. That's probably a good option to keep this alive for 1 more turn. We could use a spell, which they did. I could have used the stronger healing there. I'm not sure if that would have saved me. Well, I could at least get an Earth Elemental here, and that does siege damage to this tower. That will still take a while to kill, but that's probably fine. Notice my tower's still dying. My tower's not in good shape. It's healing 2 per turn, but it's getting damaged by 4 per turn by this. Which I can fix next turn by doing the Firestorm. And then I'll probably just summon another one. In fact, I might just get the Workshop first, let that take a hit, and then do the Firestorm next turn when there might be another enemy on the board. Which there is. Okay, now let's do the Firestorm. This one here, this is... this summons a skeleton into the front row each at the start of its turn. Also increase the attack of enemy or of its own undead creatures, like this skeleton's now doing 6 damage. Let's heal again, because the other things aren't doing that much. That's not undead. So it is living. I could use Curse. Actually, that's quite good. It will hurt this, but not by very much. It won't hurt this because it's not a creature. So that also decreases all enemy powers by 1. So this summoned a Skeleton Warrior, and then the opponent also summoned a Skeleton Warrior. So we've got 2 new skeletons. Let's just keep cursing these guys. This is dying fairly quickly, though. But I think that's... Okay. So notice my Nature Tower is healing my allies as well as itself now. I could use this and get more HP for creatures. Although these creatures... I mean, this is fine, but like... I I don't really want the zombies to stay around forever because I want to summon something better into those slots. At the same time, I do want to use Cure because it's going to raise my nature mana. Now this is almost dead. Oh, that's interesting. They use Consume Life on the... When you don't get a choice, I think it's the one with the lowest HP. They destroy their own catapult to heal their own creatures. I could do a... Let's get a trebuchet. Again, it's not normally something you put in the front row, but I've got no space at the back row. It's quite a powerful unit. This actually won't die because it takes 1 less damage from everything. I probably do want to just... I'm trying to think, is this Cure or Heal, or is it like summon something here? Because I'm building up some quite decent creatures here if I let my mana go higher. It might even just be a... Maybe this is just a gremlin here just to take a hit away from this. It will become a zombie as well, which is not the end of the world. Let's just kill most of this. So I got a hit on the catapult, but then it's still alive. 2 more zombies. I'm up to enough nature power that I'll be able to summon quite a powerful creature once one of these zombies dies, which could be a while. They've got the North Troll, which revives itself with ice power. And I'm very slow at killing that, so that's just probably going to be on here forever now. Or at least for the time being. It's probably Cure or Curse. I need this to die, but I can't really kill that in the near future. I think it's just going to be Cure for now. So the Curse is less good when you've got all these skeletons on the board. But it will still try and kill these. So I could upgrade my Nature Tower to the final level, which will give me more cards in the other categories as well. In fact, I think it only gives extra cards in the other categories at this point. It also means it does more healing to itself and to allies, and it has more max HP. In fact, it's got the highest max HP of any tower. Could actually use the sacrifice, but it's not that helpful. I want to be able to summon something like the Hydra when I get it, when a slot is free. So, which will be, well, both actually here and here. These slots are both going to be free, which is not great. So I'm going to just do Cure again to give myself more nature mana. So they sacrifice their own catapult again to heal their units. Okay, I can summon the Hydra into this square. It attacks all enemies for 5, has 30 HP, and also regenerates 2 HP per turn. Or it could be the Tower of Storms that attacks all enemies. And even though it will take quite a bit of damage from these, it will last quite a few turns because it's a building and these don't do siege attack, and this is healing it. So let's do the Tower of Storms. Then we could do the Hydra. So we're now doing 8 damage per turn to everything, which is quite good. And bear in mind, this is getting healing from itself and from my forest tower. Let's actually give my buildings... Do I want to do that? Give my buildings more HP? This craft power isn't really doing much for me at the moment. I do want this to stay alive though, but I can use the... Actually, if I do Firestorm, it's going to kill pretty much everything. Whether the troll will revive itself. So the troll was revived, draining 3 ice mana from the enemy. Let's give my buildings a bit more HP. I mean, at this point the cemetery isn't that good, but it's quite good for getting to this point where you can, you know, keep your lines filled and then summon something good once something dies. But this will keep the Tower of Storms alive for a bit longer. Maybe the... So they've summoned the fortified tower. Once this zombie dies, which will take a long time, in fact, will that even die? Because it's getting healing from this and itself. This is basically doing 1 damage per turn to this zombie. It's going to take 14 turns unless they do some kind of spell. So I was going to put a catapult there, but that's going to be a long time before that does anything. I just want to keep this alive and this. Well, that's almost healed anyway. So I'm just going to do Cure. That doesn't actually affect the buildings though. It does give me more nature mana. So the troll died again and was revived again. They used the sacrifice on the... Was that the Ancient Keeper? Just keep doing this. Spam Cure. Again, kind of overpowered if you've got that and a certain combination of creatures. This is going to destroy my Tower of Storms in 1 hit, this catapult. So at this point, do I upgrade to the maximum level of Nature Tower? I think that's not a bad idea. Well, I could have got another Hydra here, but that would have been good as well. That's interesting what they just did there. They cast a Cure spell on their own tower. Was their tower even that damaged? I wasn't really paying attention, but you'd think they'd want to summon a creature here instead of just trying to desperately heal their tower. Let's get a trebuchet here. So that's already almost dead. This is doing 2 healing to all allies per turn. Oh, this is interesting. So I could actually use the Rust spell. This so it removes all enchantments from the enemy tower, but if there aren't any, it reduces all enemy powers by 2. So obviously they've got a lot of nature power, which they don't seem to be doing much with, but these other ones will take quite a big hit. Or I could just take out some of these enemies by using the Firestorm. Notice the zombies doing no damage. Oh yeah, this fortified tower, it takes 2 less damage. No, it's 1. No, it is 1 less damage. Didn't that do no damage? I don't know. Okay, let's do the Rust now. That's going to drain their mana. Now the zombie, the North Troll is actually dead now. It couldn't revive because they ran out of ice power, so that was good. So again, it's going to be almost impossible for them to come back from this at this point. This doesn't actually... the curse won't actually damage any of their creatures because they have no living creatures. These are undead and this is a building. So let's just heal. And it's either going to be Cure or Rejuvenate here, I think. Getting the upgrade to the creature's HP could be good, but let's just Cure. So, like, yeah, they're just summoning individual skeletons, which aren't that good at this point, so they don't seem to be having much to counter this. It's a shame you can't see what spells they have. Like, do they actually have anything that would be useful in the nature deck? Yeah, it seemed like the zombie did no damage. Is this actually meant to say receives 2 less damage? I feel like it's meant to say all damage is reduced by 2, but I'm not sure. Because the zombie doesn't seem to be doing anything, even though it's got 2 melee. It should at least do 1... Oh, yeah, because it does half damage to this because it's a building, so it does 1 damage, which gets reduced to 0 damage because this takes 1 less damage from each attack. Okay, so yeah, I can't really build any creatures because all my slots are full. That's interesting, another fortified tower. Which... well, let's just try and keep this alive, because it'll do a lot of damage to this. Yeah, this zombie is totally useless here. And this cemetery is also totally useless at this point in the game. And the only actually damaging spell I've got is the Firestorm, which I can use every 6 turns. So it is a slight kind of stalemate situation in some respects. Hopefully there'll be an eventual winner. And I can just put another... Oh god, oh no, this is really bad. Because of my cemetery... Well, I can use Sacrifice, actually. I can use Sacrifice to get rid of this zombie. Which is what I'll do, because it's totally useless at this point. Hang on. Oh god. Oh no. No. I didn't read it properly. Destroys your weakest living creature. A zombie is not a living creature. So that was a disaster. All I can do now is wait for this to be killed. And put something good there again. So I just killed my Hydra. That was catastrophic. I'm just stuck doing Curse over and over again. I could do 1 damage per turn to this skeleton with this zombie. This can be a downside of the Nature Tower. That well, they don't even want to kill this zombie. Because then I can put something good there. They just sacrifice this. The downside of the Nature Tower is you can get into these kind of stalemate situations where you're healing, but you're not doing enough damage to kill them, and they can't do enough damage to kill you. This is a spell, as I said before, I almost never use this sacrifice spell because, first of all, I mean, maybe there are, again, there probably are cases where it's good, but I don't often feel like I see those. I'm going to try and build towards something that's going to be good to put in this square, which is actually the Ice Dragon, because it might also just help me get rid of these useless zombies. I can even do 2 of these in a row. Or maybe even get rid of the cemetery as well, which is useless. Well, I won't actually kill that. Well, that will help. The Arctic Spikes. Okay, thank you for clearing my front row. So the Hydra... is that just going to die straight away? I think what I actually want to do is put 3 walls in the front, just so that the next thing I summon is not going to die immediately to all these things. Although this will heal them, but this will die to this immediately. Okay, let's do the Hydra again. Or is it going to be Catapult? Well, the Hydra has more health. So I'll start killing these at least. That disappeared. They cast the Sacrifice, the Consume Life. Something weird happened there, but the skeleton's not there anymore. I want to just keep my fire mana available for something like the dragon, just so I can have some powerful units on the front and just end this game already. Just heal that. Thankfully they don't seem to have the Assassinate spell, because this would be dead already. Well, they don't have enough mana for that anyway, but I probably would have seen that by now if they had it. I probably would have used that already. Let's do... I need these to die, these walls, but the trouble is they're buildings. They don't take much damage. So... and also they're getting healed by this, so it's actually going to be very hard for them to kill these walls. So they're actually, again, pretty much useless to me, like the zombies. Oh, actually, this guy's summoning a skeleton, but then they're casting Consume Life to destroy it, to heal these. So actually, I'm not really making any progress killing these buildings and these units because they're using the Consume Life for free with this skeleton that's being summoned automatically. So that's not ideal. That's going to survive one more turn, I guess. Bridge is going to do the same again. They're just doing the same thing over and again to heal themselves by 4, or heal all creatures by 4. So I really need to take out these towers, which I can use the trebuchet for. I've got enough loads of these. You don't normally get this far in the game. Like, this is quite an unusual situation to be still playing when you've got 54 craft. Although I'm getting bonus from this. So that's going to die. Hydra. Oh no, I've got a zombie. Well, that's going to die fairly soon anyway, hopefully. From these. So basically this cemetery is now like really bad for me, but there's no way of getting rid of it. Other than just letting the enemy just kill me or destroy these buildings, which they're barely able to do because these units aren't that strong. Let's get the upgrade to HP for allied creatures so that when I do put the trebuchet down it will survive for longer. Oh yeah, also the zombie's doing no damage to this. I'm just going to do the cure just so... I mean, I don't want this to... Actually, that's good. That's going to kill that. That's good for me. So I'm just trying to save up my mana for some better stuff at this point. So all the walls are dead. Now I've got the same problem I had before. Anything I summon will be killed straight away. If I do... Well, actually, I want this to die. I don't want this cemetery anymore. I don't even really need this anymore. But the problem I'm going to have is as soon as these die... I mean, my tower has a lot of healing and it has 93 HP, so I'm basically having to clear the board by letting them kill these buildings, and then I've got to come back from that with some good... That's doable. Okay. I am constantly seeing like formations I've not seen before. Like this is obviously a very strong and quite impressive looking formation here. But yeah, please kill my buildings. I'm probably about to find out that they actually do have the assassination now. Okay, well I need to get rid of these forts. So brilliant. Okay, they do have assassination. That's not great. The dragon does have 40 HP, which will help it survive for longer. So I'm going to summon that. And then they used the sacrifice on their own assassin anyway. But it does mean I'm now free to have my dragon attack this, and it does have siege attack. So let's get a trebuchet. That was a fairly weak fire spell they used just there. Let's get the frozen barrier to protect these while they do some damage. So that's interesting. They used their consume life on their own catapult. That's an interesting... I'm not sure this is the best idea, but maybe it is. Again, maybe it's calculating that is the best thing, but it seems kind of strange move to me. And they built... I thought that's a bad move because they've already got 14 H power. Why do they need more? Surely a catapult was better than that. Okay, I can do... I mean, curse... Actually, I could do rust. That's going to decrease their powers by 2. That's dead. That's the stone golem. That takes no spell damage. Because I can use the Firestorm now, it's going to do more damage to things, but it only really affects this because these take half damage from spells. So it's not actually that useful. I'm going to do Rust again. It's dead. Maybe it is the Hydra at this point. And again, they sacrificed their own... I guess it was almost dead, the Stone Golem. So, let's see. Because I could get the one that heals my tower per turn, but it already does that itself, so I don't really need that. It's kind of a waste of a turn. But these are on full... Well, not quite full HP, almost full HP. Yeah, this is... Is this sensible to be killing your own units so much? It's keeping these towers alive for longer, but I've got a catapult. They're going to die fairly soon. So let's see. Don't want to do sacrifice. Hang on. I just realised my dragon can't attack because this wall's in the way. So that's actually not good for me. So that was maybe not the best move. I thought it was going to die to the catapult, but they killed their own catapult, which is probably why they did it. They probably calculated that was a good move because it takes this dragon's attack out of play for now. In fact, this dragon's going to be very hard to do anything with because it basically means I have to leave this square free to make use of it. That's going to die fairly quickly to this. I could use... This is a good time for this Firestorm. Another, yeah, bizarre move of another Stone Circle when they've already got 48 nature power. This is doing no damage to anything. There must be something better than that for it to use. Obviously, this game is not being updated anymore, and I'm not sure it even never was that much. Back when it was released back in 2011, I don't know if there was any updates for the Steam version, but that was 6 years ago at this point. So that's gonna, well, that's just gonna be killed. So that's fine. In fact, what do they... What was killed by that Consume Life? I thought the Dark Knight was already dead. Okay. At this stage, it's a bit of a slog until something changes here, because... Yeah, so actually, oh yeah, so the Consume Life doesn't actually have to consume a creature. But I think the AI is just in a terrible loop of pointless actions at this stage. Like, there must be something better it could put in these slots rather than trying to heal this one tower that's going to die almost immediately. So when I say I'm obsessed with this game, I'm not saying it's like an amazing game that's the best strategy game ever made. It's a highly flawed game that is nevertheless very compelling to me, and I've not been able to stop playing in these last 15 years or whatever it is since it was released. This takes no spell damage. This will help kill some of these buildings a bit. Maybe at least they'll start putting something more sensible in these slots. Like a zombie. You've got 66 nature power. Do you not have any decent nature creatures? I'm to be honest, actually, since I have upgraded the nature tower, I've got all the good nature creatures, or a lot of them. But there are still some other good ones that they've not used. Let's get another Hydra. They're not even using their Assassinate. Like, they should at least be using their Assassinate on my Dragon and so on. So I think we're nearing the... I hope we're nearing the end game here, because this has gone on way too long. Like, yeah, they're just healing their own tower. Like, they must be able to do something with this mana, surely, rather than just healing their own tower that's about to be destroyed. And they're just healing the tower. Well, I guess they've got all this nature power to spend, but like, what's going to change? This is like not a sensible use of your... So now they do a troll that's going to die straight away, pretty much. Should I do that? Well, they will revive once. So another Dark Knight. That's a bit more of a sensible move. The Troll couldn't revive. They've healed the tower. It's not going to help them much. They can actually keep on doing this for quite a long time because they've got so much nature power they can just keep doing the heal over and over again. But sooner or later they're going to run out. Because the catapult is doing 12 damage to it per turn. Well, it was before this was here. So they cast the sacrifice there, which... Why would you even use that rather than the healing spell you've got on your nature? Does that even kill your own tower? I'm not sure. Okay, they've skipped us. They basically, that means they've given up. They see they can't win. And that's a win. So that's not the most satisfying win, because surely there's something better they could have done there. This is the kind of... the thing with this game, as I said before, you have some rounds where it's very competitive and it's quite a thrilling, battle, and it could go either way, and then you make a choice and it works out for you or it doesn't. You have some battles where either you or the enemy gets into a very strong position within like a turn or two, maybe 3, and then you say like, how can you even win from this? Maybe there's a way back, but often there isn't. And you have some of these games where the AI makes kind of bizarre choices, and it's like that wasn't the most satisfying match. But all the time there's this kind of feeling like maybe I can win every game. Obviously I can't. I'll never be able to win every game. As I said before, there's no way of replaying games. Like, it's a different essentially seed each time, but you can't choose a seed. So there's no way of replaying a game, doing it differently and see if it could have worked out differently. But that's almost what keeps me playing. Like, maybe I can improve, but I don't think I can. Because I'm so hooked on this game, I'm going to play one more match. And hopefully it's a shorter one than that one. Let's start with the Snow Wolf. It's actually not that good a start. I mean, it's okay, but it's best to actually try and target a specific creature. Because I'm looking at things that make me energy. There's the Stone Circle and there's the Ancient Keeper. There's also the Cemetery that gives me the zombies. Let's just start with the Goblin Warrior. So the Dwarven Alchemist does damage to my tower when it's spawned. This could be an Ice Drake situation where they're just going to destroy my tower very quickly if they have Ice Drakes. Let's use the Ancient Keeper. This is the one that does them damage if they've got less than 5 ice power. Let's just use the Snow Wolf to try and kill this. It has quite a good attack. But they used the Firestorm, took out my wolf straight away. I just want to get rid of these things. I do want to make the Goblin Catapult, but I also want to get rid of this and shield this from being attacked. So I'm going to use the Watchtower, which killed the Goblin Alchemist, or Dwarven Alchemist. This is a dwarf that takes less damage. It also increases your craft power by 1, so that's quite a good creature to spam to just raise your craft power. With this Watchtower, the Gremlin Workshop is pretty good because this will heal this. Although you notice the Dwarven Alchemist did 5 damage to it straight away. I want to keep this alive a bit longer. I'm actually going to use the Stone Circle here in the front row. It does take full siege damage from this Dwarven Alchemist, but it will be healed by this. Although it won't kill this, but it's going to give me a bit more nature power over time. I've got a lot of ice power and not much to do with it. The Arctic Spikes is a good spell for killing stuff. Maybe I should just do that with it. I don't feel I have anything really strong to build towards at the moment. Like, none of these high level ones are that good. Okay, they used the Firestorm, so my Watchtower is almost dead. But it should kill this next turn. Let's just get another Ancient Keeper. Lean more into the ice. Do I want 2 Watchtowers? Maybe that's not the worst idea. Because they will both be held by the workshop. I'm going to do that. So my stone circle is dead, but it's given me quite a bit of nature power. This will die to the alchemist unless I put something here. Which could just be another stone circle. It's just a kind of thing that just sits there and absorbs damage sometimes. Okay, so they've got the assassination spell. They used it on my Ancient Keeper, which is not the most powerful creature, but it's unfortunate to lose that and not be getting the ice per turn. Or rather, it is ice per turn. I'm looking at this craft mana and looking at the Cannoneers, which does 2 siege damage to the first line of enemy defense per turn, which is good. So I might just do that. It's quite expensive, but obviously that's ongoing damage per turn. They use sacrifice to give themselves more death power. So it looks like they might be building up back up towards the assassinate again. Which means like maybe I shouldn't be leaning into powerful creatures, but more on like kind of things like the damage from the ice tower and so on. I mean, actually, the fire tower, maybe it's okay with the Arctic spikes, does more damage, but it's only 1 more damage, and yeah, I think I'm just going to go to the ice tower. It's got a lot of ice power at the moment, and my watchtowers are doing some damage to the enemies. Obviously, I need to get this dead. I think it's random what they attack. Let's just do the Arctic spikes to try and kill some of these. Because if this attacked the watchtower, it would have just died, but it didn't. This catapult is obviously not good when I've got all these buildings. It's just going to destroy these very quickly. I also really need more nature cards because the ones I have at the moment aren't that good. So actually I could just do this again and just kill the assassin. But I want to actually be able to like put this troll down or something, or at least maybe I just get the next ice tower. That's going to do more damage per turn to. That wasn't good. Well, at least the Cannoneers killed the dwarf, at least. This will die to this unless I put something in the front row. This will die not quite straight away to this. I do want this mammoth. Oh no, the mammoth will be killed by the assassination. The mammoth has lots of HP and takes 2 less damage per turn, or per attack. So maybe it's going to be the stone golem, which can't take spell damage. Let's try and kill you. Well, I guess they all attack this one first anyway. I think they prioritize this one before they prioritize these other ones in front of them. This is also prone to being assassinated. But at least if that gets assassinated, I can spawn the mammoth, and that won't be assassinated. Might just get an elven archer to survive or to take a hit on this turn. Or is it the? Oh, maybe it's the Grim Reaper. I've got more nature power than I need, and this gives me death power and drains my nature power. It will die fairly quickly, but I've gained 1 death power already from the assassin dying. I can summon the mammoth, which might just be killed straight away by the assassination. I do want to upgrade my tower to the top level, which means I'll get an extra nature card, because, again, these nature cards aren't very helpful. I mean, actually, well, the heal is okay. The heal is pretty good. Maybe I just use that for now. Because if I want something to kill, if he's going to use assassination, I want it to be on this rather than the mammoth that's going to have loads of HP. We just use cure. He's probably just going to use the heal as soon as or the assassination as soon as I put something good down. So maybe it is just upgrade the tower, because this is killing this. My ice tower is doing 3 damage to the strongest enemy creature per turn. And also I've got my cannoneers killing the front row creatures, so it's quite good. Maybe I do just get the mammoth and just place down a stone golem if it gets assassinated. Yeah, I mean, that was not that surprising. And also my stone golem is dying, but it should survive because it can't take spell damage. Although it could have been killed by this, actually. Oh dear, okay, this is not good. So I've got the Tower of Storms in the back row now. What damaged that? Oh no, so my ice tower damaged the Tower of Storms, got the most HP. So, well, is that just going to die? No, if I heal, that's going to go to 9, which will die. And that will survive. Well, let's get another Ancient Keeper. I'm almost thinking of the cemetery again, but I don't want to be clogged up by zombies like last time. But these are both going to die now. And this is very vulnerable from the catapult now. Is it a moment for the clay golem to try and kill this alchemist? Actually, what I could do is actually burn out. This does 12 damage to the enemy's second defense line, which is a very valuable thing at this point because it'll kill that, and it will mostly kill this. But this will still survive for a while because it won't be the most powerful creature anymore. Or the most. Oh, it does take half damage though. Okay. I'm going to get another stone circle just to try and shield my workshop and let it heal a bit. That's killing that. That's going to kill that now. I've just looked at the clock. It is 2 AM. I should stop this. Let's see. Let's do the Grim Reaper again, because I've not got much else that I really want to use. Well, I do want the Ancient Keeper, but it's going to die fairly soon. So this will survive a little bit longer. Oh, it's got two extra HP. They've also got the Priest. Is that what it's called? The Priest. It heals 8 HP to the allied creature with the lowest HP. Note it says creature not building. I'm looking at the... I'm actually going to use the clay golem. Just try and blow up these. That could also kill my Grim Reaper. They've used the sacrifice to give themselves death power. They can do the assassination right now if they wanted to. I could use the Avalanche. Does damage to everything. This will kill everything, basically. Basically resetting the board, but I want to keep this ice power for something else, ideally. If I put down a Goblin Warrior, it'll die... Will it die to that? It's a 9 plus 3. It'll die to that, won't it? So, but it will give me 1 death power, death mana, which is not that useful to me at the moment. Unless this dies first. Like, this is the thing with the clay golem, it's going to blow up. You don't want to put stuff next to it, like creatures next to it. I could put a building next to it. Maybe that's fine. Although it is, this is in the spot. Oh yeah, that's good. So the Dwarven Alchemist died before it could hit this. So yeah, I'm stuck in this situation with this assassination spell. As I said before, I tried to see if I could hack this out of the game or raise the cost, because any powerful creature I put down would immediately be destroyed by the assassination. But if I can't put down powerful creatures, then what am I doing? Like, you know, is there really much I can do that's that good? Okay, probably, but again, the tactic might be to put something down that's not quite so good, and then put something down that is. In fact, let's just do another one of these. Just try and kill these again. Oh yeah, this is being healed by the priest. So this is really hard to kill because actually maybe it's time for the forge. Yeah, it's forge time. That'll be healed by these. It'll boost my firepower, which is probably more useful at this stage than the nature power. I can at least use the burnout to damage his second defense line. I'll put it in the front row, so I can put something ranged in the back row. Or what's that going to be? It could be the catapult. I'll put it in the back row. See, I want to put... I really want this mammoth, but it'll just be destroyed immediately. Let's do the... maybe the Grim Reaper's okay just for... taking some hits, but it's not really making any progress. Thing is, this is making it really hard to kill anything. These buildings make it... obviously these buildings are doing no damage to anything. Is it just build the Gremlin workshops and the forges until I can just cast loads of spells at them? Maybe that's it. Could be another stalemate. Could be a terrible stalemate, like last time. So they upgraded to the fire tower, the basic fire tower. That's raising their spell damage. They do have Firestorm, don't they? I think they have Firestorm. Well, actually, I can upgrade to the final ice tower. That's probably worth it. I gain some new spells in each. Yeah, in each category. Although my buildings are dying. Because these are basically healing for 4 each turn, and these are doing... I'm actually not sure, are they doing 2 or 3 damage? 2 or 1 damage? Because it's half damage, I'm not sure if it rounds up or rounds down. Let's... I think this is an okay thing to have at the moment. Oh, they... wait, hang on. They cast Rust. That's the one that removes all enchantments from it. What enchantments did I have? Did I have any enchantments? Or did it just reduce my powers by 2? My mana by 2? I don't think I had any enchantments. No, oh, I had this one. That's not good. I've lost that. I can get it. So they've spent their death power on that. Well, they're still on 7. I could just get this back, or I could build the fortified tower that can't be killed by assassination. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to place a Ancient Keeper here, just got something to do with my death power, or my death mana. It is called power in the game, I'm just calling it mana because that's a more familiar term for most people, I think. But they've upgraded to the next level of Flaming Tower, which will make all their creatures do extra damage. which is interesting because yeah, it doesn't apply to buildings. The Tower of Storms is still doing 3 damage. Maybe Brutalith was doing 4. And that only damages creatures. Might just heal. Because this, actually, yeah, this should hopefully die to this, unless they do something to kill this first. They've just, oh, so they just got the enchantment that gives them extra HP to their buildings, which meant this one didn't die. Should die next turn, unless, again, they do some kind of healing. By the way, you notice I've got no nature power now because my forge is, well, yeah, my forge is draining it. So I can build the fortified tower. It doesn't do that much damage. Well, it's some damage, but it's not amazing. But at least does some damage, and they can't assassinate it. And their Tower of Storms are dying to my watchtower, which is being kept alive by the Gremlin workshops. Let's just try and kill some of these creatures. Well, that got healed by the priest. That got killed. They built another Tower of Storms, which, by the way, is draining my own firepower. Which is why this forge is actually not being very effective, because it's boosting my firepower, but this is draining it, and they had 2 of them just now, until just now. I can build the Cannoneers again, that's good. Well, they could use Rust again to get rid of it. But that means they don't have the assassination. Although, the thing is, what I need to do now is put some actual creatures here. Ideally. Because otherwise it's going to be a very, very slow game. I am doing 4 damage to eat the strongest enemy creature while building each turn, which is probably helping quite a lot. And these are just... well, that healed itself. This only damages creatures. Oh, okay, that died to the Cannoneers, that's good. So I think I'm in quite a good position now. I could even use the curse to just drain their power and do some damage to them. But again, that's being healed by the priest, which will probably heal itself next turn. I can use Burnout to destroy the priest. Oh no, that's... hang on. Oh no, yeah, because... so Burnout... is it both Burnout and Rust that do that? So Burnout... yeah, so both Burnout and Rust... they remove the enemy enchantments, and then they have their other effect if there are no enchantments. So Rust, which is the one that removed my enchantment, if I didn't have that, would have drained 2 mana of each of my categories. I'll try and keep killing these. This is a massive stalemate as well. It's just... it's almost worse than the last one I was in. Like, unless they make something really powerful, there's no way these buildings are dying. Even this one. And I'm very, very slow at killing them. So this is not ideal. And so I have the... yeah, I've got the spell called Consume Life, which destroys my weakest creature, but I have no creatures, so it's useless. I can cast Burnout again, but that's just going to remove their upgrade that is a 2-cost upgrade that's increasing their max HP of their buildings, so it's kind of useless. So let's just do the curse again. Yeah, I've got myself into a horrendous stalemate again. This is doing some damage, this tower, but I can't upgrade it any further. And they're summoning all these tanky dwarfs that take hardly any damage. So, and also do barely any damage. Okay, Okay, that's different. So this is the Goblin Spellcaster that does damage to everyone by 4 damage and increases spell damage, which I'm not sure is that useful for them because they do have the Fire Tower that's giving them more spell attack power. Is it just the Firestorm they have? Also, this will die to this fairly soon. The Watchtower is really bad for this spellcaster. Okay, that's changed things a little bit. So they summoned the Ice Dragon. It's doing 9 siege damage instead of 8 because they've got the Fire Tower. So it should at least take this building out for me and I can put something better there. Although I don't have that much that's actually that good. Like, all my things are a bit crap. Like, none of my creatures do that much damage. Like, this does 6, but it dies fairly quickly. And it's not siege damage. This does 7. That's only 4, but it is siege damage. Like, that's my highest attack, the Troll. That's quite a sad situation to be in. I do have Mind Control, which makes the 2 most powerful enemy creatures being my allies during this turn, but it's 11 mana. Okay, they're actually getting their act together by doing something that will take out my buildings. Might be time to try Burnout again and then try and cast it again once they... I'll probably just do the extension upgraders again to cancel out my Burnouts. I can do that. So notice I've just lost 2 buildings in 1 turn there. So I'm actually now in a terrible position. And they've got, I just know they've got 20 death power. They can kill any creature I summon with the assassination. So really I need to make a fortified tower, which will die quite quickly to these, but might survive, probably will survive long enough to actually do something to them. I've got the Cannoneers as well, that is doing damage to the front row. I can do 2 of these. Yeah, have total 3 total of these. But it's not actually that powerful. That's dead already. But I have a lot of craft power, so I guess it's fine. I do have the Goblin Catapult. I should be thinking about that because I want something that's going to try and kill the enemy tower fairly quickly. And the Goblin Catapult will do that. At least if we can get a hit on it, but obviously they keep summoning these annoying creatures. Well, Ice Spikes will kill a lot of this. All of it. I'm just going to do Burnout again. Okay, and again, they're just healing their tower, which is a bizarre move. Like, surely you have creatures you could summon that's going to do better than just healing your tower. It's not even as if I have siege damage with these forts. Yeah, it's like the AI is just kind of not having a good day. But then they use their healing to save their tower from imminent destruction. They do it again. So they've put back... Oh no, this is actually a different tower enchantment. They put on the one that's the Blizzard Totem that does 3 damage to my creatures coming into play, which is useless because I can't create any creatures or buildings because all my slots are full. So that's not really helping it. I can do Burnout. Well, I guess that just takes that off, but... So actually... Oh, hang on. I've just realised... This is siege attack. My Tower of Eternal Ice is giving all... Well, it says all creatures gain a siege attack. These aren't creatures, they're buildings. but they are doing siege attack damage to this tower, so I win. Okay, so that's Astral Towers. As I said, it's a very interesting game that you shouldn't buy. Maybe one day the situation vis-a-vis Russia will be better and relations will be better, but I don't think anything should be happening that's causing money to go into that country. So maybe I'll play this on this channel again. I'm playing this a lot, so I might as well put some videos up. I don't know if anyone's interested in this whatsoever. I did used to be a big fan of their previous games. So A+ Software, they did a game called... the first one I played was called Astral Tournament. That was released in about 2005 or something. It was a long time ago. Maybe even before that. I think it was before. It was like early 2000s. This was obviously even before Steam. It was the kind of game you maybe probably even got it on like a PC Gamer cover disc or something. So I enjoyed that game a lot. It's like this, but a lot simpler. There's only like one kind of row against one other row of enemies. And then they did one called Astral Masters, which is more of a kind of deck building. I don't know if it's like a Magic style game because I've never actually played Magic, but it was like more of a kind of maybe hybrid of Astral Tournament and maybe something like Magic or something. I'm not sure. Not played that in a long time. So this was essentially the third game in the series. They're also known for a game called Spectromancer. That's probably the most successful game, which I played a little bit, but I didn't really get into it. So for me, like it's not just about like the gameplay. It's like the vibe of this game I just really like. Just the way that I'm not going to play a full game here. I'm just going to look at like the different artwork and so on. Like it's all very kind of it's obviously quite generic fantasy, but I think it's quite nicely done. It's got quite a nice kind of look to it. It's nothing kind of groundbreaking, but it's kind of pleasing. The music's just nice to listen to. It's just quite satisfying to play, and that's why I've played this game so much over the years. And maybe I should be playing less because I need to finish my own game. I did think at one point about making my own take on this, but I've got too many game ideas and I need to finish my main game that I'm doing, which is called Reality Drift, so please wish us that. But I'm going to quit this. So that's Astral Towers. Thanks for watching and goodbye.